dance, the last dance, last dance, the last dance tonight. Oh yeah, we got Damian Luggage, we got a Damian Larson. That's when you know it's the musical hour that we love to call Pulp Alley Live. Talking Hats, the Talking Hats program. Hot, muggy, severe thunderstorms. Oh dear. Oh dear, oh dear.
Are we live?
I think so. I think we are live. I haven't confirmed it yet, but they said
neither confirm nor deny.
They said they could hear something, so let's see if I can get anything to work around. Oh, let's dance.
I'm tired.
You are?
Yeah.
The last dance.
I'm ready for a nap. Ooh, Alfred Hitchcock Presents.
The last dance.
Whoop. Did I tell you that all of your Last Kingdom books, I Wikipedia'd them, so I knew what happened?
So now you don't actually have to listen.
Well, yeah.
Okay, shut that off. What if the volume's at an acceptable level for the boys and girls out there? What if adjusting this actually changes anything for them?
Why would it change anything for them?
Well, because it's actually taking the audio out of the television. So adjusting the audio on the television could send a hotter signal to the feed.
Sounds like you're on the wacky tobacco.
I probably could be.
The devil's lettuce.
I prefer to call it jazz cigarettes.
I know. I do enjoy jazz cigarettes, but the devil's lettuce, nothing beats it.
Who's up for singing some Donna Summer with me tonight? Let's see.
I love the nightlife. You're in my way.
On the disco round.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
That is Arkham Horror.
I think, what was that? I think that was Gloria Gaynor, though. Was that Donna Summer?
Don't ask me questions.
Oh, okay.
Don't question me.
All right. Who else on here? We got Eric Miller. We got Nay. We got William Schmidt-Monson. We got the Scud Fisher himself in the house. That's an old version of Arkham Horror. I guess it's like 3rd edition or something. Because I was recently, and Bessy has seen me talking about this game, and I was actually looking at buying it, and then I found it in the closet. You ever do that? You ever think, hey, that looks like something I'd like to buy, and then you already have it? Yeah.
We only drink orange juice with extra pulp in this
That
house.
is correct. That is correct. I prefer as much pulp as possible.
He wants to just be able to eat the orange juice.
I do.
Just pick it up and eat it.
I do. Yes.
He wants an orange.
I want lots and lots of pulp in my orange juice. Howdy, Randy Wendell says, hey, we're like 3 minutes over. We should have started.
Oh.
I have a couple copies of stuff, and it ends up in the GFAC game library.
Worse, William Schmidt-Monson buys it and then finds the old one.
I almost did that a couple times. I almost bought Arkham Horror a couple times over the last.
I've done it with books.
Last couple of weeks or so, and then I was, kicking around. Hey, there's a Frank on here. Thank you so much for joining us this evening, Frank. Let's see what we have to talk about tonight.
What do we have to talk about?
So I don't know how many of you saw it, but I posted a little love letter to RuneQuest on a video today.
Did you?
Yes, I did. Yeah. RuneQuest is one of those games that I think is really, really smart. I think it's a fun game. I think the world, Dungeons and Dragons, I think has some absolutely amazing content. You look back at all their cool worlds that they've built, they have just an amazingly cool depth of stuff. The Ravenloft stuff, the Dark Sun stuff, the what was it, Birthright, and on and on and on. The list is almost um, endless. So much cool stuff. Uh, but as far as the system, I'm not really a fan. I'm not really a fan of the Dungeons and Dragons system. I think they have just amazing content. All of the stuff that's been written for it is fantastic. Unfortunately, I'm just not a fan of the game. This, on the other hand, I really do enjoy the game system. I think Chaosium really stumbled on something really, really nice there. And for me, it was like a epiphany sort of moment when I discovered RuneQuest and realized, wow, that's what a role playing game could really be. It was mind blowing. It was eye opening. It was just really, really cool. And then Call of Cthulhu, and then a lot of the stuff that Chaosium was doing was just like I was definitely their target audience. Yeah, hard to hate Chaosium products, Telemachus says. So much really cool stuff. The Stormbringer box set and just on and on. Just really, really fun stuff. But I'm glad to see that they have decided to give RuneQuest some more love. And if anybody out there does role playing games on a regular basis, RuneQuest would be a fun one to look at. Some of the stuff, and I hate just saying it's a good game without giving you a reason why. And because I hate reviews like that. Like when I go to like online and I'm trying to find out about a game, like there was a game that I was actually interested in and I wanted to find out something about it. And when I went to watch the review, it really wasn't very helpful. It was like how to play and stuff. And it was just goofy. It didn't really help at all. Skill based systems always appeal to me, Manny Marino says. Yes. The attack and the parry roll. The fact that there are not levels, like you have that arbitrary, that artificial leveling system in Dungeons and Dragons. Like now I'm a ninth level fighter. In RuneQuest, it's like your characters develop realistically. Your characters develop like humans would. You gain a skill point, or you get slightly stronger, and it's a very slow process that just kind of happens over time. Really, really good stuff. Really, really good stuff. And then the fact that the world is so tied to its gods and its legends and its lore, and that every single character is capable and quite often does cast magic. The world is a magical place where everybody can cast magic. Anybody can climb a wall, and those were things back when I was playing D&D, that was something like only a thief can climb a wall, or
No, that's true.
only a wizard can cast spells. And it's just, yada yada yada. It's just a cool game. It's very much sort of centered around a almost like a Bronze Age culture. It's not the aesthetic of the world is just kind of rough and cool. It's just a lot of fun. A lot of fun. It reminds me of like early Greek stories or early Celtic stories and myths and stuff like that. Really, really fun one. But even better than Glorantha. And I think Glorantha and RuneQuest had the advantage of looking at D&D, right? They had the advantage of looking at Dungeons and Dragons and saying, what could we do better? And that's a cool thing to do. They introduced the skill systems, which of course eventually D&D kind of adopted something fairly similar from what I hear. But even cooler than that is a game system that they did called Pendragon. And Pendragon, to me, is possibly one of the best role playing games I have ever seen as far as the mechanics of play. Purely from a game design perspective, this is just a really, for me, it's like my sweet spot. The game, there's just so little that you could actually complain about. The fights in it, the combat, are opposed roles. So in that struggle between two characters, both characters are fighting, and sometimes one of them comes out on top, just like possibly an excellent pulp game that I frequently play. So, what role playing games do y'all play? Tell me what you guys play. Does anybody out there play any role playing games? My friends told me about Print Dragon. You have to take a lineage into account for your character. You can put out of the game if you don't have sons. You could do it that way, Mr. Luggage, but you don't have to do it that way. It can be a lineage game, and oftentimes, that's kind of the plan. But no, you don't have to play it like that.
No, you have to.
No, you
have to.
don't.
It's in the book.
No. You could easily just play it as a single character through over that character's course of history. You don't have to do the lineage stuff, but that is another aspect. And it's kind of fun too. Plus, you don't actually have to worry about doing sons because it's just as easy to have a daughter that can be a knight
That's true.
and
Girl
and
power.
a wizard or a magic user in it. So yeah, yeah. Rollmaster, Middle Earth, in addition to Chaosium games. The Rollmaster stuff was big. I don't know how many folks still do the Rollmaster. Has that pretty much died off, or what's going on
And they
with
said
that?
Pathfinders and one is Wheel of Time.
Yeah. Pathfinder is basically a derivative of D&D from what I understand about it. What is Wheel of Time? What is that, another D&D-esque sort of thing? The One Ring, DW Lowe says. Paranoia. I have several box sets of Paranoia, which I picked up somehow over the years. Used to play a lot of Paranoia. Paranoia is an absolute joy. Not a bad game system, but the world and the story around it actually makes it even more fun. And the truth is about role playing games, and this is something that you know you can be very forgiving about the system. Like you could sit down and play Dungeons and Dragons and have an absolute hoot, have so much fun playing Dungeons and Dragons because the game is not so much about the rules as it is about the interaction and the fun of just being with your buddies and your pals, sitting around the table and telling a shared storytelling
Yeah.
experience. That's really what D&D or even, RuneQuest or Pendragon or just about any role-playing game is really about, right? There's chess, and then there's the game of chess. And those are two very, very different things. There's there's the rules to playing Texas Hold'em, poker, and then there's actually how you play it. And those are, again, if you just read the rule book for Texas Hold'em, it wouldn't even really tell you how to play until you get around the table with your friends and everybody, and you start playing, and then you figure out, oh wait, there's more to this game than the rules. And that can be very much said of role playing games as well. Role playing games transcend what is written because it's really more about the shared experience. Let's see what our comments have from folks. Wow, Manny Marino, Warhammer Fantasy RP, you crazy man. Is that even around? Space 1889 was, I thought, a really good game. I thought Space 1889, and that was kind of difficult for me because some of uh, Game Designers Workshop, GDW, some of their role playing games were kind of finicky as far as the rules were concerned. What else do we have on here? Oh, the old Champions. Champions, Manny. Champions, I would have to claim as one of the inspirations for the way Pulp Alley does its abilities. We leave it really to the player to kind of define what that ability really means to them within the context of their character and their story. Champions kind of did the same thing as far as the way you picked abilities for your superheroes. So that was an inspiration for the way we did it. Randy, I really like Space 1889 too. That was a ball. That was a ball. Iron Kingdoms, I don't remember. Iron Kingdoms was well designed to move players to the tabletop to RPG. I don't remember that one. It sounds kind of familiar, but can't can't really place it. Traveler. I believe you missed an L there, sir. I believe the official spelling is with two L's. Oh, um, played Hero System more than 20 years ago. Hero. Oh yeah, yeah. Well, that's all the Champions stuff too. So yeah, that was a big system, and they did branch out the Hero System. Not only did they do the Champions, but then they went into fantasy role playing games as well. Champions was a lot of fun, and we played it fairly often. Ran my wife through the solo adventure from the new Pendragon 6th edition starter.
She was
She
knighted by
was,
King Arthur at the end.
I believe it's pronounced knighted, by
Knitted?
King Knitted. Yep,
No, just knitted.
Knitted. I ordered the box set. Don't let Bessy know. I did order the box set also. Chewbacca Growl, or Mr. Growl. I did order the box set for the new 6th edition Pendragon, but it hasn't come in yet. So, it is what it is. Um, Soldier's Compendium for Battles. Very cool. Iron Keaton's version of War Machine. Okay. And Hordes. Okay. Autofill Strikes Again. Um,
Traveler
is
two
that a
L's.
villain? That could be the name of a villain for Champions. Oh, with Traveler with two L's. Yeah. Isn't it? Or am I misremembering that? I think I remember them using two L's in it. I get that feeling. Okay. I like the figures for Space 89. More skirmish for me than RPG. Yeah. I also enjoyed their, and it wasn't so much an RPG, £2. Uh, their Cloud Ships expansion, where you had the flying ships moving around. So that was a lot of fun too.
I suspect that might be an autofill as well.
What did I miss? We're
It was
talking
supposed to be
about
2 L's, and it changes to 2 pounds.
two pounds. Randy is just getting autofilled. Not again. 2 L's. Sky Galleons of Mars. That was it. And they had a couple other expansions for it too. That was a ball. How about Castle Frankenstein? Anybody remember? That's not the right name, is it? Castle. Oh, never mind. I can't remember it. Shadowrun, that was a ball. Again, a system that I almost liked the world more than the game. I never could kind of come to grips with the Shadowrun game. Something about it just would not click for me. Merc 29, Space Master were games we played back in the day. Falkenstein, that's what it was. Castle Falkenstein. So Castle Falkenstein was a lot of fun. Kind of like in the vein of like a Prisoner of Zenda sort of thing. That sort of time period. But in that game, you didn't use dice, you used cards. And although now that's becoming more and more common, at the time that was like kind of groundbreaking. And the reason they gave was actually based on the game itself. And they said that dice were things used by the lower classes, by the sailors on the wharf, and the game, intended you to kind of play, upper class sort of characters. So you played with cards instead of dice. Falkenberg. Yeah, no, I think it might have been Falkenstein. I don't know. It's one of those two, or Falkenberg. Ravenloft. Is that what you're thinking of? No, no, it was this thing here. It was this Castle Falcon something. Castle Falcon something, I believe, was the correct term.
I mean, that's legal.
That's
legal
the
name.
legal name in legal terms. Anywho, does anybody still play role playing games?
Nate
What's
does.
the last role playing game that you played? Castle Falkenberg is my dentist. Castle Falkenberg, that's his full name. So toy soldiers and catapults. What? Frank, toy soldiers and catapults. Let's see, I got something on my screen. I can't read what he said.
What are you talking about?
I can't read what he said.
Here, let me do it.
Here, you do it. So
You
toy
gotta
soldiers. Well, you just read it to me then, if you know what it says.
Well, no, I'm saying I can finagle it. You talk amongst yourselves.
Oh.
Like H.G. Wells in Little Wars.
Oh.
You're welcome.
Oh. Yes.
Oh, I don't. Why is that
What?
blinking?
What's blinking?
No, I didn't like it. I didn't like it.
You're exactly right, Frank. Yes. Yep. Peter Cushing was a big player of the Little Wars. He had quite a miniatures collection and was quite an avid war gamer. GURPS was interesting, wasn't it? And that went for a long time. And again, it was one of those games that I never really could, come to grips with for whatever reason. I think by that time I had discovered RuneQuest and I was pretty much sold on that. So as soon as I saw the GURPS stuff, I decided to go with RuneQuest instead. DW, a convention near me is running Sky Galleon's game in September. How nice is that? Very cool. My niece is doing a steampunk RPG based on a world she created. I have gremlins that are dangerous. Very cool. I like that.
I
like
would
that.
honestly expect nothing less.
I
from
would
Nay.
not. I would not expect anything less than dangerous gremlins. That's Mech Warrior. Now that's interesting. Okay, so what about board games? Is anybody doing board games? Chewbacca Growl says still old school essentials. Basic expert D&D, reading through the new editions of Chaosium's basic role playing, and awaiting the physical book. Chewbacca, I'm glad you're looking at the basic role playing game because I think it's a decent game. For me, the basic role playing rules without the world of Glorantha never really excited me. For me, it was that combination. It was the world of Glorantha and the basic role playing system together that really meshed and felt cool. So when I've looked at the basic role playing game system and kind of put it in other settings, I liked it, but it didn't give me the zing that playing in Glorantha did. Played Scarface 1920. Is that the DW? Is that the board game? Is that the board game? I play small company rules. We send you some scenarios from micro. Oh, that's right. That's right. I've enjoyed Savage Worlds. Now, Savage Worlds again, Vern is very close to the D&D format, right? Am I wrong? Let me know on that because that's the way I've always understood it. Anyway, I haven't looked a lot at the Savage Worlds stuff. A lot of good material in the GURPS. Yeah, GURPS was just like huge with all kinds of material. LA Detective for board games. Now that's interesting, Derek. So I dug out Arkham Horror, which what I was really trying to find was something that we could play with Max's cousins.
Mhm.
Um, so he has a few cousins. We have a family that we do board games with and stuff like that. And what's that racing game called? D.
D.
Formula D. Uh, we call
D1?
it Formula D because we live in Perilous Islands, so we can get away with that. I think the correct pronunciation might be Formula D,
I think it's
but
this racing game
just racing game.
or car game.
So
That's
we
what the
had a
kids
lot.
call
We
it.
had a lot of fun with that. Just kind of moving around the track and rolling dice. That was kind of fun. I was looking at maybe trying to find a talisman. Anybody remember old talisman game? Um, they're fairly young. I think the youngest is around 7,
He's
and
turning
then
7 this
yeah,
weekend.
almost 7, and then the oldest is
She's
14,
13. Just turned
13.
13.
Yeah,
Teenager.
Formula D. Fantastic racing game. It's a lot of fun. Yeah, it's a nice, simple game. I changed the rules a little bit because it's what I do. Um, just to simplify it so that we could have 7-year-old and 10-year-old, 13-year-old kind of sit around and play, and 40-year-olds and stuff like that. So
33-year-olds.
yeah. So I simplified the rules down to make sure everybody would feel comfortable playing.
And the kids loved it.
Yeah, they really did enjoy it. So I'd like to find other board games. If you guys have suggestions, I think Arkham Horror is going to be off the list.
This is 14 and up. That might be.
Says 14 and up on the box. So I don't know how much simplifying I might have to do to make that work. But I thought maybe Talisman. Does anybody have an old copy of Talisman that they want to get rid of? Because I had a dickens of a time trying to find it on the interwebs. I don't know if it's just not being produced anymore or what's going on there. I had a couple old versions which I haven't been able to find. I thought I had some. Maybe I need to check in the other room.
You should check in the other room. Have you checked in the
I'm
other
gonna
room?
go check.
We're not doing it now.
Okay. All right. Well, we'll do it later. We'll check later. Talisman is a long game to play, Nay says. Yeah. Um, I, I can fix things like that. I can change things around and fix it where it's not necessarily a long game. I can find ways to adjust that sort of stuff. Um, Brett Walda Kickstarter, waiting impatiently for Anglo-Saxon England and Vikings. Brett Walda. So a board game, I'm guessing. Jamie Larson.
Interesting.
So did we? What did he say there? I also have that Hellboy board game because Damian Larson very kindly is painted up some miniatures for us. So we might be seeing some of the Hellboy miniatures very soon. So did we convince Dave to finally play a different game on Sunday? He is a little obsessed with that one game. I don't know. Is that something that you guys would like to see? I love our little community of folks that we have. So if you're not a subscriber, get subscribed to our little channel. take a moment right now if you're enjoying this conversation and enjoying the community and everything. Take a moment right now and hit the like button for us. We only got 5 likes tonight. Oh, we just lost one. Oh,
Yeah.
doggone it. Oh dear. Is it because I asked? Is that what happens when I ask? Um,
Unliked.
yeah. Oh no. Take a moment and make sure you hit that like button for us. That means a lot to us. And then also, if you haven't hit the bell, if you're a subscriber already, make sure you hit that bell so you get a button when we. Somebody was asking if we would play some Monopoly. I don't know. We'll get around to that.
I knew I liked Telemachus.
What? What did he say? Savage World can cover any genre. Yep. That's their claim anyway. Based on D4. Oh, through D20. D4 is beginner level with higher dice showing better mastery. Oh, like Pulp Alley. They stole that from us, I'm pretty sure. Activation is with a deck of cards. Doesn't sound bad. I'd give it a whirl with you if you wanted to show me how to play sometime. Did Brett Wald? Okay, lots of pieces at Arkham Horror. So yes, they claim that there are over 500 pieces in the box. So I haven't counted it to confirm. My friend has Talisman and all the expansion. I know he doesn't want to get rid of it though. All right. I'm gonna go look at the other room. I'm gonna go
Stop.
look.
We need to end this. It's 8:30.
Oh. I'm sorry. So anyway, if any of you have an old copy of Talisman laying around that you don't want to use, send it to me.
Don't feel
Talisman
obligated.
bookcase behind me, Eric Miller says. Sitting an old copy of Advanced Hero Quest. Oh, you should play Dungeon Degenerates.
It really is like an RPG as a board game with a crazy retro aesthetic.
Oh, how
I
cool
do
is
love
that?
crazy retro aesthetic.
Maybe Monopoly, he says.
Oh, and he did an evil laugh.
Board game, beautiful game. Looks like okay. Haven't heard of it. Only thing a Monopoly game is good for a starting fire. Mr. Luggage knows the truth. How about Pulp Alley Monopoly? I like that idea where you race around the board and you collect relics and they have to go to the library, go to the museum and oh man, that's a good idea.
All right, let's wrap it up. I have a
Second
crying
edition
kiddo.
of Descent. I don't want the second edition of Descent. I don't know what Descent is. Pulp Alley, Shadow Band, Descent. Okay, it's heard evil laugh. Descent player here today. Don't know what Descent is.
It's a dungeon crawl game.
Oh, okay. That sounds neat. I like the first edition. Longtime favorite is Warhammer Fantasy Roleplay, but I drawing dice from a bag. I'll bolt. Actually, that's interesting. Toxic Avengers game. My son likes him. Dungeon crawl great. Okay.
See you guys.
Oh,
I got a crying
she's
kiddo.
She's leaving. She's walking out on me.
Adios.
I ran a little bit long today. Thank everybody so much for watching with us tonight. I hope you had a good time. I did. We'll talk more. We'll talk to you soon. Oh, Max is upset. Play us out of here, Bessy. Doodle doo 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 doodle doo 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 doodle doo.